Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. This football season is going to be our 20th here at the Sports Source, so we'll be building a brand new, bigger, better set for you. And who am I turning to for the help with that? Well, A.G. Hines Company. For 100 plus years, the Hines family have provided building materials and tools to East Tennesseans doing their own home improvement, their own building, their own projects. Start your next project with a trip to downtown Knoxville and A.G. Hines Company. Okay, Ryan, one reason folks are excited about Iamaleava, it's getting easier, is the fact that he could have some coattails. You had a guy in Taven Jackson last year, 4-star quarterback, just now on campus, didn't have the coattail effect that a 5-star might be able to have. How real is that? How many guys, is this the kind of guy that other players are going to say, yeah, I want to go to Tennessee because he's going there?
I think it helps a lot. I mean, I will say that people shouldn't assume that other 5-stars are automatically going to follow, but what it does is it limits the effect of, oh, well, that's just one player going to Tennessee. Is that really going to make them that much better or whatever? It's the guy that gives them instant credibility, and he's well-liked by a lot of prospects. He plays the 7-on-7 circuit where he travels across the country and has gotten to meet some of these guys. So I think there is going to be, for anybody who might be skeptical of Tennessee as a program and whether they can build back, I think it tells players, hey, there's a reason to go there. There's a tangible reason. It's a good player who can throw you the ball. I think receivers in particular, but offensive players in general, and maybe all players, we'll see. And the other big thing is he wants to be a peer recruiter, so that's good. Not every player wants to take that on. He's made it clear he plans to be very active and to get out there and see what he can bring with him.
Bob, we were talking earlier this week. I mentioned Taven Jackson just a second ago. You had a thought.
The apple of the eye of this past recruiting class, and many. My thought is this. Taven Jackson's going to be here this year. He's going to be on the roster. He may play in some games. Okay, let's say Hendon Hooker gets hurt. And let's say Joe Milton comes out and he's Joe Milton. And you end up playing Jackson. And what do you know? Look at him. Josh Dobbs, number 2. Peyton Manning, number 2. I just kind of think that, everybody gets excited about this kid. And now Taven Jackson is a total afterthought for the University of Tennessee's fan base. Mm-hmm. He's not an afterthought over there with the coaches and the staff, but now he's just an afterthought for everybody. Taven Jackson. Yeah. So does Tennessee want him to play this year? I mean, if something happens to Hendon Hooker, do you want to get Taven Jackson on the field?
It's a fascinating discussion. This whole thing, for every locker room, but assuming NIL is a factor in all of that, all of this is going to be new territory for everyone to navigate because you've got egos to worry about at multiple positions. I mean, we don't know how these guys are going to react. I will say I think Taven Jackson's a confident kid, headstrong. If anyone can take this and not let it get him down, I think it's him. But, yeah, how he's going to react and how it's handled once he gets here is going to be fascinating to see that play out.
And I will say, if you got 2 quarterbacks on your roster that have shown or you believe can win SEC games, that's a fantastic problem to have.
Yeah.
And it's a short-term problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yes, that's the thing. In this day and age, can you have 2 good quarterbacks on your roster that are good quarterbacks?
You better hope one of them's hurt.
You can obviously have a good one and then have a good one on the bench you don't know is a good one.
Yeah.
But
Hendon Hooker.
Can you have 2 that are good ones
at
the same time that are good? Or is one of them going to say, see ya?
In that scenario, you could at least say that Taven, because how many true freshman quarterbacks go out there from game one and look great? Taven Jackson could at least allow Tennessee the option of saying, let's make Nico earn the job as opposed to saying he's the guy from day one and everybody knows it. So it's a good problem to have, but yeah.
Vince?
To answer your question, yes, Georgia last year with Stetson Bennett and JT Daniels. Now, Daniels is transferring now, but at least during a season, you could have.
Well, sure. That's just it for a limited amount of time you do.
Right.
But nobody stockpiles quarterbacks anymore.
Yeah, Tagovailoa and Hurts stuck around together for a while. And then,
Well, even Mac Jones hanging around is another good example. But I think ultimately this comes back to culture and people wanting to be a part of your program. Because, you want people that are enjoying coming to work every day. You wake up at 5:30 in the morning, go to the facility every day. If you're not going to get the payoff in playtime and, all those things that come with that, you'd want it at least to be, hey, I like being here. And that's where you want to make an environment where people like
and if you're winning
being
games,
around.
If you're winning games, that helps too. Mm-hmm. We talked a little bit, you were going down this road in the last segment. A lot of these 5-stars don't pan out. Also, Adam Sparks, who did a really nice job with the Knoxville News Sentinel, he's a numbers guy, which I love. he went back and looked. There have been 22 five-star quarterbacks in the last 10 recruiting classes. Of those 22, 13 transferred to another school. That's a lot. 9 stayed where they were with their initial school. 13 transferred. We're behind, so I'm going to chop down this conversation and make it a question. You have to be concerned about anybody, whether or not they're a lock or not. But does Josh Heupel's system make you feel more confident in this guy living up to the billing as opposed to if another coach were here? Because for me, very much so. I don't know that Heupel makes him a lock, but I feel a lot better about the translation from high school to college with Heupel at the controls than I do with some other quarterback under some other coach. Agree, disagree?
100%. I've seen some bad quarterbacks thrive in this offense. I have not seen great quarterbacks not be great in this offense. That is not something that I've seen.
I agree. I think much more than other coaches we've seen. He's produced. You put up numbers. You think, regardless of who the quarterback is, they're going to put numbers. Regardless of who the running backs or wide receivers, you feel like they're putting up numbers. It can be elevated if they're special, but yes, I think you should be more confident in that.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, Derek Dooley, Jeremy Pruitt, probably not.
Okay, very good. All right, when we come back, this is the most. In another week, this would have been the lead story. We talked about the UT season last week after the Michigan loss, but I want to dig into what is one of the most bizarre. I just don't know what to compare it to across sports. I've been trying to think all week. We're going to talk about the fact that you have Rick Barnes, one of the greatest all-time regular season coaches, and yet he's also one of the worst all-time NCAA tournament coaches. And I can't figure out. Maybe you guys have a clue. I've got some ideas, but I don't think any of them are the dead-on answer. I'll see if you guys have an answer as to how can that be possible? We'll show you some numbers next. It's crazy. Come on back.